Could the iPhone 13 completely ban TikTok? What about apps like Instagram and WhatsApp that thrive off of your personal info? Will all these apps be removed off of your next iPhone? Are you gonna have to start to pay to use Facebook, Instagram, and other apps? Or has Apple's stance on privacy gone a little too far this time? Let me give you the good news, the bad news, and tell you why some very big changes could be coming to your iPhone very soon. And a big thanks to Privacy for sponsoring this video. Privacy keeps your personal finance info safe and secure online by allowing you to create virtual cards that you can use for all your online shopping. New users who go through our special link will automatically get $5 to spend on their first purchase, so head to privacy.com/applecircle to learn more and sign up today. TikTok is truly a fascinating app. You can follow your favorite creators, you can create and upload content of your own, or you can simply just sit back, relax, and let the algorithm feed you an endless stream of videos that almost seem to know you a little too well. It's creepy good at knowing your hobbies, your interests, your likes, and you can just sit back and do nothing and just watch one video after the other in a way that is almost addicting. And obviously TikTok is monitoring every little thing you do, every video you watch, every like you give a video, every creator you follow, even every message you send. TikTok knows a lot about you, and the app can be, again, a little addictive, something that is good for TikTok, but Apple is very, very concerned about. See, Apple has put themselves into a very interesting situation these days because they're not just a phone company, they're not just a tech company, but they're sort of, in a sense, a privacy company these days. They have taken a very bold and a very public and very firm stance on users' privacy, and they want to make sure users of iPhones, iPads, Macs, and all Apple products have their data on their device safe and secure, and they are very aware of any kind of tracking, any kind of data collection done by third-party apps on those devices. And there's a little bit of controversy there, which I'll get to in a little bit, but for now, just know that this is Apple's stance. They want to make sure that their users are protected on their devices, and they don't like this tracking being done by third-party companies that make a whole lot of money by collecting your personal info. Facebook has sort of become Apple public enemy number one in this whole privacy feud. They have really kind of taken Apple on very publicly and really disputed Apple's firm stance on privacy and what Apple is trying to do. And Facebook, I think we can all agree, is not really the most upstanding company. They track every little thing you do within the Facebook app and also well beyond across different apps and websites through Facebook embedded ad technologies. They track everything you do in Facebook owned apps like Instagram and WhatsApp, and they are in the business of collecting as much of your personal business and information as possible. So they can use this sort of in a way against you. They can use this to serve you super personalized targeted ads that they're sure you're going to click on. They can sometimes sell this information to third-party data brokers, or they can just use this to sort of feed their algorithms and keep the app more addictive and keep you coming back for more and more Facebook goodness. Now, Apple can't inherently stop you from using Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok, and other apps on your phone for the most part, but what they can do is make it harder and harder for these apps to collect your personal information and make you very well aware of when an app is trying to request access to something on your phone and when the app is trying to track you inside the app and outside of the app as well. There have been a number of big features added to iOS and macOS and iPadOS over the years. A couple of the big ones, of course, being app tracking transparency, app privacy reports, iCloud private relay, all these little features built in Apple devices to make it harder and harder for these apps to not only track you, but when they do attempt to track you, it's kind of put in your face in very plain words whether you want to be given the power to either stop this tracking or allow it to continue happening. Now, I think that we can all agree that these are generally good things. I want to know when an app wants to access my camera, my microphone, my location, all that stuff. I definitely want to know that, so that's really nice to have. And again, when it comes to app tracking transparency, I want to know when an app wants to track me across apps and websites, and I want to have control whether I want to allow that to happen or not. I don't think anybody thinks that's controversial. That's generally regarded as a good thing. But I think what's more on the minds of users, and especially Apple and security analysts and stuff these days, is what about what happens within an app? When you willingly sign up for a service and you agree to the terms of service and you download the app, should Apple have the right to sort of warn you about things that could potentially be bad happening within the app? Or is that kind of crossing a line that Apple should not cross? Let's take TikTok, for example. Now, TikTok is a fascinating app for many reasons, but one of the most interesting things about this app is not only do they collect some information from external sources like different social media logins and other services and stuff like that, but the majority of the data they collect and they kind of use to your benefit and to your detriment is all the stuff that you do within the app. In fact, the Wall Street Journal just sort of did a deep dive into the TikTok algorithm, the power of it, the pros, the cons, and it's kind of crazy and creepy to see how well this algorithm can learn exactly what you like, what you don't like, and just how fast it can do it. And TikTok is collecting a bunch of your personal info within the app. Of course, there's the basics like your location, your age, your name, your phone number, but also every little thing you do on the surface, analyzing the messages you send and receive, scanning and identifying objects in videos you upload, keystroke patterns, the battery level of your device, and even your biometric data can be collected and used by TikTok. It's all there in the privacy policy. And obviously TikTok does a lot with that information they collect about you. There is, of course, the way of kind of taking that information and giving you a more personalized experience within the app for your benefit, or so they say, giving you a more personalized advertising experience. And then, of course, they also say that they are sharing that information with third-party vendors like analytics firms, advertisers, researchers, stuff like that. And again, that is not uncommon to see, especially with a company like TikTok. Facebook and other companies do it as well. Usually they provide their data to another company like a data broker, and usually for a price. So they are making a lot of money by serving you ads, by collecting your information, by keeping you kind of addicted to the app, and also sometimes selling off that information to third parties and kind of having full control over the data that you give them willingly, whether you know it or you don't. So if TikTok has this super powerful algorithm that tracks you within the app and even tracks you through external sources and sort of works like Facebook, could TikTok be the next app to sort of get the wrath of Apple in this privacy battle and be the next app to be threatened to maybe be kicked off of the App Store? Could we ever see TikTok leave the iPhone? This is a very interesting discussion to have, a very important debate, and it's also extremely important on how Apple chooses to proceed in this very gray area. I think there are many of you guys out there watching this video, and myself, for example, that know the age-old saying that if you don't pay for a product, typically you are the product. Basically to say that if you don't pay for a free service, typically the data you give up to that service is being used in a way to monetize the service and pay for the service, whether it's used to serve you ads or they're selling that information. Basically, Facebook, Google, TikTok, and tons of other apps and services are free, but they're using your own information against you in a sense. You know this, I know this, but many of my friends and family members, and I'm sure many of yours, people you know in your lives, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people around the world don't know this is happening. And for them, this is a pretty big problem. And I think in this vein, it's good to see Apple take some proactive steps to let people be aware of the stuff being done on their phone, giving them sort of a transparent report card, a nutrition label to see what an app is collecting, what they're doing with your information, allowing you to see when an app phone's home and to where. That is all really great stuff, and I commend Apple for doing that. And app tracking transparency as well, that is excellent to see and giving users more power. But there's sort of this fine line on when that becomes an issue if you were to cross it and do more proactive things in the sense of trying to be good, but maybe it's a little too much. And I'm not saying Apple is going to do this. I'm not saying Apple has plans to do this. I'm just kind of throwing this up into the video for conversation, something we can debate. And I guess kind of for discussion's sake, what if Apple was to put prompts inside of an app to warn you that, hey, the algorithm you're using in this app could be kind of using your own information against you? Or, hey, do you know that the message you're sending in this app is not encrypted, it's not secure, and companies are analyzing what you type? Or, hey, do you really want to post that article on your newsfeed? You didn't read it all the way. Is that something you really want to do? There are lots of things that could be done in the sake of being good to sort of warn you on the dangers of what is happening within a given app. But then again, should the business that you do within an app be your business to kind of have for yourself and with the service and the app you're using? Or should Apple be able to sort of step in and warn you if they think something bad is going to happen? Again, not saying Apple is doing this, but in kind of the realm of security and privacy and kind of seeing where Apple's heading, I wouldn't be surprised if some kind of system level warning could take things a step further, and there's a little bit more done by Apple to kind of monitor the app that you're using and the behavior of that app than what's currently being done right now. And this is a very complicated, emotional, and just kind of messy problem to solve. On one hand, you have sort of sleazy apps like Facebook that don't really have the best business practices, sort of threatening users that if they don't agree to allow for this app tracking to happen outside of the app, they're gonna have to start to pay to use apps like Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. That is just plain ridiculous. Before we continue, I want to take a quick break and talk to you guys about an amazing tool that I use for all of my online shopping, one of my favorite services of all time. That, of course, is this video's sponsor, Privacy. Privacy is an amazing, super easy to use tool that allows you to create virtual cards that you can use for all your online shopping, keeping your personal finance info safe, secure, out of reach from bad guys, and giving you total control over how, when, and where those virtual cards are used. What I really love about Privacy is that you have full control over the virtual cards you create. They can only be good with one merchant, only good one time. You can set transaction limits. You have full control over how these virtual cards are used. And best of all, if there's an issue with a merchant or you want to make sure you're not charged when that free trial period is over, you can just pause that virtual card and just simply walk away. No charges are going to go through to that card. No money is going to get taken out of your account. Nothing like that is going to happen because you have full control over those virtual cards. It is awesome. Best of all, it is so simple to sign up for Privacy and start using it right now. Like, follow along with me. Head to privacy.com/AppleCircle to sign up for an account. I can add in my finance info through my bank, and then I can create my first virtual card in just a couple of clicks. And it's really as easy as that. Now I can do my online shopping, I can browse around for some new camera gear, and best of all as well is that when I go to check out, thanks to the Privacy extension in your browser, you can automatically fill in those card details right in the checkout window for you in just a couple of clicks. It's simple, it's seamless, it's easy, and all of this while your real finance info is safe and secure behind that virtual card. I use Privacy for all of my online shopping. I love having the peace of mind knowing my personal finance info is safe and secure behind those virtual cards, and also having the full power of those virtual cards, how they're used, when they're used, and if there's an issue, I can pause the card and walk away. It's as simple as that. I love Privacy, and I know you guys will love it as well. So if you want to learn more and check it out for yourself today and sign up, hit that link down below or go to privacy.com/AppleCircle. And for new users who go through our special link, you'll automatically get $5 to spend on your first purchase if you go through our special link. So sign up, start using it today, the link down below, or by going to privacy.com/AppleCircle. And of course, in an effort to be as fair, transparent, and balanced as I can in this video and to lead to a productive discussion, I really can't go any further without kind of discussing the elephant in the room, and those are some recent concerns that many have over Apple's stance on privacy and safety and security of its users by some recent announcements they made off of new features coming to Apple devices very soon. And the short of it is, for those who don't know, Apple will soon be implementing a number of child privacy and safety features within the Apple ecosystem, with the most controversial one being a system that scans hashes of photos within an iCloud photo library and compares them to known hashes of child sexual abuse material, which in the event a match is found, it then goes off to human review and then could be reported to the proper authorities and parties that need to be involved in a situation where that would be appropriate. Obviously, this is a very tough subject to cover, and I'm not really going to try to cover it in this video because I really don't have time. We can discuss it, of course, in the comments down below. But really, many are concerned not so much with what Apple is trying to stop within the Apple ecosystem, but it's what the technology could be used for in the future. If it's used to scan for more than just CSAM right now, could it be used to try to find and identify other things not liked by certain governing bodies or entities around the world? Many believe it's just a very slippery slope that could open the door for more control and oversight in the future moving forward. So let's sort of bring this back home, so to speak, and kind of go back to the original question I posed in the very beginning of this video. Could the iPhone 13 ban TikTok? Could updates to the iPhone and iOS come that would remove TikTok off the App Store and off of the iOS platform altogether? Well, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but in terms of sort of the near future, the next year or two, I don't see this happening. Apple obviously has some major differences between Facebook and their apps like Instagram and WhatsApp. There are other apps that Apple has not always agreed with that exist on their ecosystem, and TikTok is certainly one that has been in headlines for the wrong reasons and does have some controversial parts to the app. But all in all, I don't see a way that Apple could just downright remove them. These are still services, again, that people sign up and willingly use. They agree to the terms of service, and whether or not Apple likes it or not, people do want to use these apps. What I do think Apple will do, and what they will continue to do, is make it harder and harder for apps like Facebook, TikTok, and other apps to track you around the web and on different apps throughout your phone. They're going to make it harder and harder for these apps to communicate between different entities, between different backdoor systems, and the users are very well aware of when an app is trying to track them, what information they're trying to collect, just making the process much more transparent, and in the end, ultimately giving you more control on what you want to happen or not. Apple is known for having this notorious walled garden that has a lot of pros, cons, there are good parts and bad parts, obviously, and I'm very curious to see where Apple chooses to go. Will they continue to add more safeguards and more features into iOS 15 and 16 and other parts of Apple software to make tracking more transparent? Will they one day add hardware restrictions into the iPhone 13 and other iPhone hardware that maybe gives you like a toggle to turn on and off access to a specific part of your phone, like your photo library? Will they store that in a secure enclave? Will they have like a physical LED that shows you when your camera is being accessed, like the MacBook Pro? There are many different directions Apple could take, and I'm curious, what are your thoughts? How far do you think Apple should go to keep you safe and secure and protected? Is Apple doing too much? Are they doing too little? What are your thoughts on these apps and how Apple is choosing to sort of deal with them? Lots to talk about, so let's discuss in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on Apple's stance on privacy and what they should do with TikTok, Facebook, and other apps. And I think that is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.